the discussions are starting to take place within college hockey, within the NHL, within the CHL about the potential eligibility of CHL players, Canadian Hockey League major junior players being eligible to play NCAA hockey. As of right now, within the rule book, they are not allowed to play in the NCAA. They are not eligible. There's a lot of reasons for that, but one of the primary reasons is that the CHL does have players on professional contracts, which doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't necessarily mean that, everybody that's in that league is a professional, but there are enough instances and precedents being set now that, and also we're talking about this in the era of the NIL, of the transfer portal, of all of these new things that have kind of happened in college hockey. And one of the big things is that, at some point, should someone legally challenge the barring of CHL players that aren't on professional contracts, that more than likely does not hold up very well in a court of law. And so this is an interesting dynamic. This has the potential to really alter the ecosystem of not just college hockey, but the entire sport. You think about the fact that there has always been this split. You're either going the NCAA route or you're going the CHL route. Now, what if you have a chance to do both? That's what we're talking about. As I mentioned, this is not imminent. There's a process in place, and Brad, I'll let you chime in on that a little bit in terms of where things stand. But these conversations are as serious as they've ever been right now. So I just from a procedural standpoint, Brad, before we kind of get into the nuts and bolts of what this could ultimately mean, what are some of the steps that are going to need to happen for this to kind of come to fruition, if it is to come to fruition? And we do both think probably will at some point.
Yeah, that's something that's on my my to-do list next week when North Dakota has a bye, is to hammer down the procedure. I do know that if the coaches really wanted this, I think they could get rid of it tomorrow, or essentially this summer. If the coaches were saying, let's open it up, and it's all unanimous, and they would try to push that through, I think it could happen. The coaches I've talked to are not really in support of it. I do think you make a good point that if someone challenges it, it's going to be very confusing to explain to a judge why a kid who plays in a European league with a bunch of pros but hasn't signed a pro deal, he's eligible for college. Why a USHL kid who could potentially play with a pro is eligible, but a CHL kid isn't. I think that's going to be an issue. So I don't think right now there's nothing imminent. It is worth watching for sure. And yeah, like you said, if it goes through, it completely changes the development path in the hockey world, I think.